Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. I'm your host, Jobadomi, and this episode it wasn't part of my schedule. I didn't plan for this episode. I just came up with it on the spot. I'm not sure if it's a special episode or it's part of the lineup. So this might be part of the episode. This might be a special episode. Um, yeah. The name of the episode, what we'll be talking about is important things about this podcast and life that you need to know. Right, so I wanted to make it a little less clickbaity, but actually some important things you need to know. So let's start. Introduction to the podcast. I'll introduce you to the podcast. This is the live podcast. You can listen to my previous episodes on anywhere you get your podcast. You can check my website and you see the links there. You can check the link tree and then you see where you can get your podcast: AudioMac, Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. I think those are the most popular. You can get on Amazon Music too, and it's like 10 others or something. So this special episode, I think I've already said it. It's kind of just, I'm not sure if it's special episode yet. Like when I get to that point, you guys will know. So it's just something that I just came up with and something I'm thinking about. So it's just like giving guys an idea of what's going to happen going forward from now. Like in the podcast, what's going to happen going forward for the podcast and everything, and the planning, the settings and everything, and some important things that you guys need to know moving forward, right? So that's it's kind of long, yeah, but I'm trying to like chop it off a little bit. So explanation on why I'm making the episode, I think I just explained it, that it's just something that I was thinking about, but I just formulated the script and I just said, let me just tell you guys about like what's going to happen, what's going to go on as this podcast moves on through the phases and everything and whatever. It just moves on as we continue with other episodes on emotional series, mind series, whatever, social issue series or something, the society series. I think I've been in that. So that's just this episode, like for the expansion of what we're going to be doing moving forward, or what some things that you need to know moving forward. So that's it. So this podcast, as you know, this podcast is not a podcast on technology or fantasy or fiction or something. It's kind of a general, whatever, called self-improvement or self-help, or whatever people call it, self-education, self-improvement, self-help. It's just like the idea, or maybe for curious people, or for people that want to change their life or need motivation or something. This is like that general something to be listened to. And I mean, there are a lot of self-help people, a lot of people that have heard of, people that are into the self-help, self-improvement stuff, people that have heard of books like Atomic Habits and whatever, Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, and other Think Fast, Slow, other books, a lot of books on self-help. So if all these books, then you know that, okay, yeah, this is the general for like self-improvement. So this podcast, the point of this podcast, or what I was trying to achieve here was, I didn't know, I wasn't going to give people like basic instructions to live your life or something, like give you do this, don't do that, do that, don't do this. I was thinking of giving people that are listening like the truth about and the facts about life and stuff pertaining to life, and how you can make the best of it, right? Because there was something that I saw on the internet, of course, right? And so a woman was like written a book on self-help or something about something like that, and she was just really polished. She was just saying random stuff, and people were there like supporting, like, yeah. Like, why do people watch or read self-help books or something? Why do people watch motivational videos or something like that? That just live your life, be happy, live your life and stuff and everything. And as a person I am now, like, sure, I was trying to analyze it from their perspective of the way they were looking at it, right? And they were like, live your life, just live your life, and all this self-help, self-improvement stuff is bullshit. And I was like, yeah, somehow, somehow. So I just want to counter is that it's just like saying, how do I put this now? It's just like saying, I don't know, I don't want to put one analogy here that everybody is going to just fringe and be like, what the hell, bro? Let me give, I don't want to give program, but let me give football as an analogy because everybody might relate to football, right? Just imagine there are two players. Now, one player knows how to score goals, right? Another player is a playmaker and he also scores goals, right? So he dribbles, passes, cuts into the defenders, he does all these mad attitudes, and one other player is just more about the finishing. He's just there to tap it in instead to swerve the ball anytime somebody just crosses it or passes it to him. So you can see those two people that are very different. One is a playmaker and one is just a finisher or something. According to, I don't know the whole football terminology stuff, right? So just imagine that the person that is the finisher is just the random person that just drifts through life, and like the people that were there writing a book and were like, why don't you just live your life and stuff like that and everything. Maybe those people are the finishers, although they still score goals, but they're just the finishers. And they are the people that learn how to live their life better, the self-help people that want to improve on themselves every day. How do you learn better habits of doing stuff and self-improvement and everything, caring about stuff less and improving your values and your metrics and everything and stuff like that. Those are the playmakers. So you can see they're both playing the same game. They're both playing football, but one person is doing more than the other person. One person is probably enjoying it more. He's dribbling, he's doing instead of like for his cause. The finisher just like everybody just celebrates, but the guy that's dribbling, he dribbles, enters, he passes, he enters, he finishes it. Everybody's like, and you can see the difference between the two goals. One goal is just like, hey, and the other goal is like, wow, this guy is good. So you can see the difference between just a random person that just dribbles through life. Although it's not for every case, right? So just like giving an example, and somebody that tries to better himself or herself or something, you can see the difference between the both of them. The person that betters his or herself has more chances of scoring, like more opportunities, and is just a better player than just the finisher guy or the person that is perfectionist, whatever. So just to just clear that out, this podcast, I wanted to do is like just like daily wisdom or something, or just like not daily wisdom, just like straight up wisdom. But I don't know. I don't think it works like that, because if I want to be honest with myself, I don't think I am that knowledgeable to just be giving people random ass stuff, just say one quote every day or something like that. Although the thing is that nobody in this world is right. But as we grow older, we're just more right. We're just more wrong than before. Just like an example now, if I was in the podcast when I was 16 years old, and I was thinking that when I was 16, I was thinking that okay, I was saying important stuff. If I was 17 and I had my 16-year-old self, I'd be like, part of what this guy is saying is wrong. You can see that at that point in time, I thought I was right, but in the future, I'm wrong. So you can see everyone in the world is just wrong, but as we go older, we're just less wrong than before. So as just to my second point, that all of us are constantly learning and evolving and everything. So this podcast might not be, if just like saying like Republican, Democrat or something, if you're a diehard to death Republican or to death Democrat or something, this podcast is not for you, because the podcast is about life, right? And life is not one-sided. Life is multiple-sided or two-sided or whatever I want to put it. So we'll be talking about different stuff, right? So just like the Republican and Democrat stuff, some people might swing to the left, some people might swing to the right, but you can't tell me that everything the right are saying are wrong. There are some things that are saying that actually make sense, and that's what we're here for. We're here to decipher the sense from the rubbish from the both sides. So we're in the middle. We take the sense from the left, take the sense from the right, and we join it together. So it's not about taking sides left and right and left and right. We're going to be honest with ourselves. I'm going to say the honest truth. I'm not going to pick one side over picking the other side. We're going to be rational, critically think about the facts, and then convey it to ourselves. So if you're the kind of person that gets offended when somebody is not talking about your views, and I don't know, maybe this podcast is not for you. Maybe you find a podcast that just talks about what you want to know, what you want to hear, and stuff like that. If you want to be on this podcast, I'm going to talk about the honest truth. And the truth is always painful. The truth is always painful. So you have to take it like that. Take it as it is. And if you're always avoiding pain, you're always avoiding things that are going to change your idea and your mindset, I don't think you're going to improve yourself. Because for self-improvement, you need to be uncertain about some stuff and try new things, and then that's when you improve yourself. Because if you always think you're right, you always think your view is right, then you're never going to improve. And that's just one logical way of looking at it. Alright, so as I constantly learning the whole dynamic, the whole podcast stuff is going to be changing, right? So we're not just going to be talking about one side of the spectrum. I'm going to be talking about all the whole side of the spectrum, being honest to ourselves and everything. And then we're going to be rational with the decisions we make and the values and the points and everything that we're going to be talking about on this podcast, right? Okay, so I just talked about it now. The podcast is about life, and there are different takes about life, so you don't have to agree with everything I say. You don't have to agree with everything I say. There's some things I might say, I might be right, I might be wrong. Anything I say that is right, it might be from where I read it, or the documents, or how I researched it, or how I understood this. Anything I say that is wrong on this podcast is my fault, so just blame it on me and everything, right? So you might not agree with everything I say word for word. You might not agree, and that's okay. It's not, you don't need to agree with everything I say, but just need to pick your point out of it. I might write an essay of 300 words, but you just need to pick like 7 sentences out of it that relates to you. You grab what I mean, that can help you improve on your values, on what you think is right for you and stuff like that. So just to keep note of that, you don't need to agree with everything I say. And be like, if what I'm saying is not making sense, you now beat yourself up, because all of us, well, it's a whole constantly learning process or everything. So we'll just be learning as we're going and learning as we're going, right? So that is it. Alright, so I was going to talk about how I'm going to be honest, no matter if anyone is listening or not, right? So this podcast, it's not, I wasn't really doing it. The point of this podcast, it wasn't really for it to be my main stuff, for me to live off the podcast. No, and that's what gives me the flexibility, right? So if I was doing this podcast, because I'm going to live off it, and this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I'm going to live off it. I'm going to be very, 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 very consistent with it, right? Then most of what I'll be saying wouldn't be really honest, because then I'll start having sponsors, start having people and stakeholders and everything. And anybody tell me to say this, anybody tell me to say that. Someone will tell me that it's not agree with what I'm saying, that I should change what I'm saying, I should calm a bit, whatever. So the point that is making this podcast very original is that I have nothing to lose, right? So I'm just doing it as like a very side project, because I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy impacting knowledge. Like, so what I've learned from all my research and knowledge and everything, I like to impact it, because what's the point of having knowledge if you won't share it? What's the point of researching something if you won't share your findings? It's just something like that, Right? So what's the point of me trying to seek knowledge if I won't share it with the world or the people, wherever that is listening to this podcast? So that's the point of the podcast. I just to share my knowledge, share my findings, hear different views of life, different takes and everything, and just tell you guys about it, stuff like that. So the project, the podcast it wasn't something that was do or die fear or something like that. So that's what makes it more flexible and everything. So I can record anytime I want to record. I can talk about things that I want to talk about that relate to you guys. I'm not something that somebody will tell me that, oh, bro, don't talk about that stuff. I know they feel that topic. So and when I knew that I have absolutely nothing to lose, I'll be more honest with you guys and I'll be more free with you guys and everything. I'll be more honest with you guys and I'll be more free with you guys and everything ahead and stuff like that. Yeah. So I think I talked about that. And the point of this podcast is not for listeners, it's for people who want to understand the truth. Yeah. Now the thing about this podcast is that I'm not doing it for people to just be like, oh, Java. Here's the podcast, everybody should listen to it. Right now, I don't even really tell people about the podcast. I don't know why. I'm not just interested because when I start to have a lot of listeners, I start to feel depression and everything, and then I'll start because that stuff actually happened to me. But I think I'll still talk about it later, because I wrote it down here that the whole content, social media stuff, I started to feel the pressure of the whole internet and creating whatever stuff. Right, so that stuff is I'm still going to explain it. We'll also talk about some important things, right? So I won't just give you guys an episode without actually giving you guys some knowledge, right? So just keep knowing that I'll talk about it, right? But yeah, the podcast is not. I'm not doing it for to be the most popular podcast in the world or anything. I'm just doing it to impart knowledge, and anyone that is free to listen, and wants to understand some things more, know the truth and everything, that's it for you. So that's the point. It's not to have a million listeners or something, because the point is that if you're trying to target a very large audience, then you start to lose your point, you start to lose your value. But if you're targeting a smaller audience, just like saying it's better to have, there's this saying that it's better to have a million regular fans. It's better to have 1,000 diehard fans than a million regular fans. You can understand. So it's better to have 1,000 diehard fans. So you can understand. It's better to have 1,000 diehard fans than a million regular fans, right? So the diehard fans are your marketing, your everything, and your hope, your joy, and everything. So I'm not doing it for the million. I'm doing it for the 1,000 of fans, right? So that I want to understand and know the truth and everything. Although I'm going to face criticism and everything, but that's just part of life, right? So I just need to embrace that part of life and move on. Okay, yeah. I think is it too early? Okay, yeah. I was reading some books during my, will I say, downtime or re-evaluation time. Let me see. I don't want to guide on myself here. So I was reading some books, and I think right now I'm reading the Atomic Habits and Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, or something like that. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, if I'm being honest, is more, to me though, is more interesting than Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits is it's like a guide, so it's not something that it's just like your physics textbook. It's just something that we can't just speed through it and speed and read through it. You have to calculate the examples and everything. Right? It's not like your English textbook that you just read through it. The subject art is more of story based. It's like your English textbook. No, it's like your physics textbook, but with more diagram, so you don't really need to think too much. Just see it and be like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So I was reading the software out, and then I've learned some stuff about it and everything. I don't know if you guys want to hear it, but the name of the book, it's Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, it sounds very catchy, and then you will just look at the book and be like, okay, what this guy trying to say is, don't give a fuck about anything. That's it, and that's the summary of the book. But that's not really what the book is about. The book is about just a summary of prioritizing what to give a fuck about and what not to give a fuck about. So just giving you guys a summary of the book. If you want to hear the summary, if you don't want to hear the summary, you can just skip this part of it, right? So people that don't have time to read the book, although I'm not finished it, I can just give you guys what the book is about, right? So it's not any spoilers or anything. So the guy was trying to explain that you have a very short life, right? And everybody knows that you have a very short life. And what he was trying to explain is that during that short life, you have a small amount of things to give a fuck about, right? So, and I agree with the guy. You have a very short life, and you have a small amount of things that you can give a fuck about, right? So he was trying to explain that family, friends, all this stuff, things that come from within, are things that you should actually give a fuck about. And stuff like people are talking about me, and my social media doesn't have enough followers. All this stuff, you don't give a fuck about them. So the summary, you just give a fuck about things that are important, and things that are important, just drop them behind, something like that. So not to spoil the book for you guys, so that's just the example, and that's like a life lesson you guys should carry. Going to school or something. I think school resume now, so just don't give a fuck about the latest iPhone. Everybody's carrying iPhones around, but sure, bro, that's not your problem. Don't give a fuck about that. You have what you came to school for. Give a fuck about your friends and your relationship with your friends and everything, and your school work and stuff like that. So when you're driving a Benz and everything, don't give a fuck about that. You can give a fuck about other stuff, because the more you think that, oh god, I don't have this one, I don't have this, I don't have this one, the more you start feeling insecure and everything. Just like what the guy talked about something called, is it law of, is it, I don't know, I forgot the name, law of regression or something. The more you focus on the negative, the more you focus on the positive, the more negative you end up. Like, the more you always focus on how this guy has a car, you don't have a car, the more you start feeling insecure about yourself. But the more you focus on the negative, the more you become positive, right? So that's just a very weird law. Yeah, it's a backwards law, so you can search it. So you can search it and understand. It's called the backwards law, right? So, and this podcast, when I started it, I think I talked about it when I started. When I started this podcast, May 6th, right? I recorded the first episode. The episode was being honest with myself, the episode was shit, right? Bad audio quality and everything. So I chilled for a while. I didn't get myself on anything. I started was it September or August? I think September. So I continued September. Right then, I give myself this kind of false deadline. So I was thinking that I'm going to release an episode every Monday. Every Monday, because I have a friend who does a podcast. I release episodes every week, right? So I was giving myself this false deadline that I'm going to release my episode every Monday, and if I don't release my episode every Monday, something's going to happen to me or something like that. Then people are going to fall off and everything. And then there was this night where I was trying to calculate the episode I was going to release next and something like that. So, and then I will not say it like a mental breakdown, but I think I had a mental breakdown. But I won't say mental breakdown. I just had conflict of the mind, right? Where I was trying to sleep, but I could not sleep because my mind was just thinking about random stuff, and I was about to cry. Like, it was very sad. Like, just my mind thinking about random stuff and everything. Like, maybe it was Yeah, so I was feeling the pressure. I think this was the pressure of the fact that my brain didn't want to feel pressured. That I didn't want to feel pressured that to be the night before Monday, the Sunday night, something. I won't have any episode, or I wouldn't have edited the podcast, or won't have recorded the podcast or something. My brain was trying to like pre-calculate before my next drop or something. So that was a very very bad night, and I think that was the only night that happened. So after that night, I was like, like for this shit, like what the hell? It was very bad because normally I calculate my programming stuff, my normal day stuff, and my programming stuff. I was use my brain to calculate most of the time. So now that I'm doing like a podcast, the podcast has started taking the space of some other stuff. So my brain wasn't really sure about it, and everything just scattered for me, if I'm to be honest. It was very bad. Very bad. I sought help and something like that. So I think I'm fine now. I will know how to manage that in the future. But just wanted to talk about the point about the pressure by social media. Things that once you become a content creator, or will I say a content creator, because everybody just post on social media and everybody just generalize as a content creator, right? So everything just loses value. An artist, a musician or something, you post your music, all of a sudden you're a content creator. So everything else just loses value. And you go to say I'm a content creator, just loses the value of what content actually means, right? And the thing about social media is that everybody's feeling pressured to release your episode. You're looking at the analytics. You release your YouTube video, looking at the analytics. Oh my god, this video got tank. The video tags are like, oh, what did I do? You're sweating profusely, running around. Advertisers are like, guy, this video tank, what the fuck is this shit? And stuff like that. So the pressure of the social media, everything, and when you're creating and everything, that you start to feel pressure that you want to lose your listeners or your viewers or stuff like that, and then you start to feel pressure and you start to break and release try to release videos every day or every week or something because you don't want to lose your listeners and stuff like that. I think that was what was happening to me. I was trying to release an episode every week so I won't lose my listeners. But funny thing is that I wasn't even really, I didn't really give a fuck about the listeners. I didn't really look at the analytics or anything. The only analytics I look at is the anchor stuff, and that was because I need to check my podcast stuff and everything, and change some settings and everything and stuff like that. So I just check the analytics maybe like once in a week to just see what's going on and where stuff are going on there. But just like giving an example that you start to feel pressured and you start checking analytics and everything that my episode is tanking. What can I do better? What can I do better? And the thing about social media is that there's too much content that everything is boring. Have you ever just gone on Twitter and there's just too much stuff? There's too much content that you just lose your interest and just leave Twitter because everybody's a content creator now, so it's just too much content for everyone. It's just I don't know what to say. Maybe that will be another episode or something, maybe like a social series or something. Maybe later on, talk about how you don't want to be pressured by social media and content creators and related to how many content creators out there. Okay, so I think I have to talk about that. I didn't want to be pressured by the whole deadline of every Monday, so I just became flexible about it. I release the podcast anytime I want to release the podcast. I release it anytime I feel like releasing it, anytime I have the energy to release it, and I don't want to be calculating too much in my head so that I won't have a mental breakdown again. Right? So I just like relax with the whole episode and stuff. And anytime you guys see an episode, sure, if you guys see an episode, just chill for me, or if you don't want to chill, I don't know. So that's why I just gave myself the idea of just relax and everything. Why? Because people are always saying if you're consistent, you have to be consistent, you have to release episode every week. So your podcast can build and grow and everything, and be consistent. Now, what people don't understand is that now the just give an analogy, and everybody, I want everyone to like listen to this part properly, because I'm about to like drop some mad ass advice right now. So everyone looks at the results. We start the podcast and everybody be like, okay, I want to get mad ass listeners or sponsor or branding or whatever. And then you look at the process. The process is just consistency. Release every week, release every week, release every week, release every week, and every stuff like that. Right? So what people don't understand is that the result is not as gratifying as the process. That's why I always keep try to tell everyone, enjoy the process, enjoy the process, enjoy the process. The result is not always as sweet as the process, right? Just like saying you win the Champions League. You're a footballer, you win the Champions League. Sure, you won, you're carrying the cup, but the carrying the cup is just for a moment. But the thing is that you're not going to enjoy carrying the cup as much as the times you were losing 3-0 and you equalized or something. You're not going to enjoy it as the times that you were having problems and you fix your problem. But during the process of winning penalty shootout or something, how this guy scored the 10-minute goal, you're not going to remember when you carried the cup. You're always going to remember the problems that happened during the process. And that's the thing about life. There's a quote that says that when you're successful, when you're always trying to talk about your success or something like that, or your product or something, have you ever noticed that when you're always trying to talk about what you just did, or your process, your result, or anything of any product or any stuff you're doing, you never talk about how you got there. You never talk about the end game that, okay, I have 1 million followers. You always remembering the problems you had before you got the 1 million followers. Just like saying now, if I won't tell anyone when I started programming, I'm never telling people how I created my first website or how I created my first mobile app. That's never the stuff. I'm always remembering back to the time when I had a very tiny laptop and it didn't even have any battery. I'm always telling people that exact same story, and then when NEPA takes lights, everything just goes away. Stuff like that. So you can see I'm not remembering the result of my first website or my first mobile app. I'm remembering the problems I had during the process. So you can see the psychology behind it, that people are always focusing on the result, but the result is not as sweet as the process. And that's where people are fucking it up. You're always focused on the results, that you're not living your life. You're always thinking about what you could be, that you're not in the now. You get what I mean? You're always thinking about what I will do in the next month or in the next foreseeable future with the money I have when I get the money. But you're not thinking about how you're going to live your life now. And what people don't understand is that the process is the most sweet. I can always tell anybody, anywhere, and I can quote this stuff anywhere, anytime, that the difference between creating a website, like launching a website, and the problems, the bugs, the errors, the crashes, the crying, the scratching of the head, almost pulling your hair off, the running around, the crying, the frustration. It's not the process of launching the website is not as sweet as everything that I just said. It's not as sweet. Although you finish an app, you finish a process, or you finish a feature, you're like, you run around, and then just like 5 minutes, and you sit down and be like, okay, so what's next, right? But it's not as sweet as the long-term pain, the process, the endurance, the crying, the like, oh, what the heck is going on here? Why is it seeing red everywhere? It's not as sweet as the errors that you got when you were programming. The result is like a 5-minute gratification, but the process of failing, pain, everything, that's what you always remember, and that's what actually matters, right? Because everyone in life, you're going to feel pain. Everyone has problems. I'm always sad about all this. I don't know, people might look at me and be like, what is this guy saying? But I'm always sad about all these rich kids that always that post stuff on social media. I do like, everyone be like, guy, you're rich, guy, why are you sad? You're rich. But the thing is that all people don't understand, what people can't fathom in their head is that because you're rich doesn't mean we don't have problems. We just have better problems than others. because somebody is rich does not stop the person from having cancer. You get what I mean? So why are you always thinking that? Why is everyone always thinking that, oh my guy, yeah, but you have money, drown your sorrows with money? People don't understand. People can't relate to the fact that because you're rich does not mean you don't have problems. And that's what I'm really sad for all these rich kids, because it's called trust fund kids, rich kid problems. Because everyone has their own problems, right? So I don't know, Sha. That might be another episode of Talk for Another Day. Sure. So anyone that you see that has money, whatever, or trust fund kid, whatever, and has problems, don't think about it that, oh my God, you have money and money will solve all your problems. Money does not solve all your problems. Money can just give you better problems. Because the thing is that everyone in this life has problems, no matter who you are, who the fuck you are, you're going to have problems in life. That's part of life. Part of life is problems. You come to this life with a baggage full of problems. You drop your problems, you fix your problem, and then you create another problem. The thing is that what people don't understand is that, just take this analogy. Every problem we have now was from a problem of before. Now just imagine now, I have an app, a mobile app. There's a problem in the app, and I fix the app, right? And the app is now one massive. I create the app, that's the problem. Analytics and everything, and I fixed the app, and the app is now one big app like this now, very very wide and central. There's another problem has been created for me fixing that problem. Now I have to maintain the app for worldwide users and everything. So that's another problem that was created from the problem I just fixed. So you can see that problem does not finish in this life, and because you're rich doesn't mean you don't have problems. Rich people just have better problems. Right, and that's what we always try to have. We always try to have better problems than the last problem that we had. But that does not mean that everyone does not have problems. So just take it easy on the trust fund kids, because they have problems too, right? And actual real problems. So just to take note on that. Okay, life lessons and some sort. I was trying to say something that there was this video that I watched. That one guy was saying that. There was this guy that was very rich, a trust fund kid. He had all the money and everything, and then he blew his life away by taking drugs and drinking and stuff like that and everything. And then this guy asked him that, why did you blow your life away? He had everything and stuff like that. And this guy said that, what's the meaning of life if everything you worked for does not mean anything? Right? So just stick that into your head that you can have money, but what's the use of working if everything you do does not have any meaning? Because everybody just look at it that you already have money. So, bro, what did you work for? Just like saying now somebody is a trust fund kid and he works on a company and everything. Everybody just look at it like, okay, bro, you're successful, alright, but you're always rich, so it doesn't really mean anything. Right, so that's like the idea, and very very saddening. But I'm not going to be feeling for people I'm not going to be feeling for rich kids or trust fund kids or everything. That's their own problem, and that's their own problem to solve. I have my own problems too, and I have my own problems to solve. So just an example that everybody should just relax and. Things in this world, things in this world are very, very complicated and beyond our knowledge. You cannot just see something on social media and judge the person because of your values or anything and stuff like that. You need to actually be rational with your thinking, and then anything you see outside, you need to think about it twice. Why is the person doing this? How is the person doing this? And stuff like that. You don't need to just start judging people anytime you see them. You see a girl entering a car. Just give me an example. You see a girl entering a car, in school or something like that. Automatically, you think that she's an immature or something, or you think that she's sucking the guy dry or whatever. But you're just judging, just by seeing her entering the car. So that's not the way to live life. You don't just see everything and judge everything because you think you're right. The thing is that what people don't understand is that you think you're right. You're arguing. Just imagine Messi and Ronaldo fans. Ronaldo fans are Yabi Messi fans. They think they are right. The Messi fans are Yabi Ronaldo fans. They think they are right. So if everybody thinks they are right, who is wrong? That's the thing. So the thing now is that everybody is wrong. Everybody in the world is wrong about everything. But some people are just less wrong than the others. Right? So if everyone is thinking that they are right, nobody's going to progress in life, because everyone is thinking that I don't need to change because my views are right and your views are not right. And then you want to argue with somebody, but you don't want to listen to what the person has to say. Like, it doesn't work like that. Like, how you be arguing with me about something, and I'm trying to give my own point, but you don't listen to what I have to say because you think your views are right. So why are you now trying to instigate your own views on me if you don't want to listen to my own views? So that's something that you guys need to understand. That don't be certain about anything. You can be certain that okay, your Man City is going to win Champions League, but they might not win the Champions League. So life is based on uncertainty, and that's the most beautiful thing about life. Is that it's spontaneous. Anything can happen at any time, anywhere, any day, any hour, whatever. And that's the beautiful thing about life. It's very spontaneous. It doesn't have like a fixed thing. What can happen today might not happen tomorrow, might not happen in the next 10 years. So that's the very thing about life. Everything is very uncertain, and people like certainty. They like to believe that something's going to happen. People like to work dead end jobs or 9 to 5 jobs, because of that financial security that their money is certain, right? Although I'm not saying that 9 to 5 jobs are ugly, because everyone on social media is just saying 95 is shit, 95 is shit, 95 is shit, but 95 is not actually shit. It just depends on the job you're working. Just imagine I'm a programmer now. My dream is to work in Apple, and I'm working at Apple. We not tell me that my job is shit. No, I'm enjoying my job by working at Apple. Although it's a 9 to 5 job, I'm enjoying it. So you can see the difference between 9 to 5 jobs, and everyone knows social media just saying 9 to 5, 9 to 5, 9 to 5, but it's not as bad as it seems. It's just you not doing the job that you want. But that doesn't mean that all corporate jobs are just shit. So just to give an example of that. What was I want to say again? I just wanted to give you guys some important stuff. That don't be certain about anything. Always question yourself. When you think about something, I'm like, okay, this stuff should not be this, should be that. Always question yourself that why do you think it's that, and stuff like that. Sometimes you're wrong, sometimes you're right. But because you're questioning yourself every time does not mean that you're wrong. Right? So just keep note of that. And some people say that the episodes, my episodes are too long. That I would like drop an episode of 59 minutes, drop an episode of 46 minutes. That it should be at least something like 30 minutes episodes. But now the thing is that I don't want to like shortcut myself. I don't want to do stuff that I won't enjoy. Right? If I'm doing 30 minute episodes and I'm stretching everything out, I don't know. Just me though, I won't really enjoy it, right? So I'm doing this because of what I enjoy. And if I start to do it and I'm not enjoying it, then what's the actual point? Right? So I don't release episodes every week right now. I don't think I'm going to be releasing episodes every week because I don't think I have the cognitive energy for that. But anytime it's an episode, just pick it like that, right? So and the episodes might be long, it might be this. I was thinking this episode will be like 2 hours, but I doubt it will be up to an hour. Right, but just take it like you can cut the episodes and everything. Since I'm not releasing an episode every week, you won't really feel the impact. You can listen to 10 minutes every day, and in like 1 week you're already done with the podcast. I mean, with the episodes, so there's not really anything about it, right? I was thinking of people were saying 30 minutes okay, 30 minutes okay, but well, as long as the episode needs to be, that's just my own thing. So that's the way I'm seeing it. So I mean that's it for the episode. This episode was, I don't know, it's not a normal episode because I didn't really plan for it. I just wanted to see what was in my mind and stuff like that. So the episode might be boring, might be dull, and anything, but the point is that he had to get the facts from the episode and stuff like that, and understand how we're going to proceed with the podcast, how I'm going to proceed with the podcast, and how you can understand what I'm trying to say and everything, and the whole schedule and stuff like that, right? So thank you for listening to this episode of the podcast. I appreciate for listening and sticking with me, even though I'm not posting every week or something. I don't know if people actually listen to podcasts every week. So thank you for listening to the episode. And if you want to open an episode, just email me. I think there should be a link. There's a link on the bio. It's my link tree. It's my website. Email me. Send me a message on Twitter, or just send me to, an email directly or something like that. Reach up to you or reach out to you or something. So thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me on this episode, and I hope you got something from it, because there's no point of listening to the episode if you didn't get anything important from what I was trying to say. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me today, and catch you in the next episode. So, peace.